Hey, Don here. Well, back with a live stream again. It's been a while. Um, I'm going to do some work on my old Raspberry Pi, and I thought I'd go ahead and do a stream on that. Let me check my audio. I don't have things set up as usual, so I have to switch. I have to switch over here. You won't see it, but I can't. I can't tell what's going on until I do it. Okay, yep, working fine. See, I got to switch my KVM switch back and forth. That's what it is. Because I've got my wireless mouse and keyboard hooked up to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, so first I'm going to start on the desktop. Go over here and show you the specs of my Raspberry Pi. This is the page, I guess it was, this is where I bought it from Newark back, and I don't guess, yeah, I'm not logged in, so it's, I think this would be my, this is just the page where if they don't sell them anymore, but if this would be the page to buy it from. So I had saved that. But this one is the Raspberry Pi Model B, 512 megabyte of RAM. You know, they're pretty limited machine. Something that little, I can't hardly call it a machine. I call computers machines all the time, and they are machines. But anyway, pretty limited computer. And let's see, has Broadcom. Let's go down here. It tells a little bit better information. I'm not going to read that whole. The Broadcom BCM 2835 SoC Full HD Multimedia Applications Processor. Yeah, I thought that's the video processor. From what I remember, 700 megahertz. You can overclock it to 750 megahertz. Goes back a long time. Single core 750 megahertz. Of course, those machines were a lot bigger and louder. The processor's an ARM 1176JZ. And you know what? I think the processor's a Broadcom. It's an ARM processor, of course, if you didn't already know that, but Broadcom video core. I didn't think they were integrated, but they now I can't remember for sure. Anyway, it'll do OpenGL, 1080p, and H.264 PEG-4, 512 megabyte of RAM, 10100 Ethernet, RJ45 wired connection, and it takes SD. I didn't know it took all that other SD, MMC, SDIO card slot. I was thinking MMC is another kind of card, but now I can't remember that either. Yeah, my memory's, well, it's been quite a few years now, so my memory's bad, but definitely bad when it gets to be like 10 or 11 years, I think. I can't believe this thing is that old. I used it for, so dual USBs, HDMI video connector, and a composite RCA connector, PAL and NTSC, which I'll be, if I were going to use that, I'd use NTSC because I'm in America here. 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Doesn't say audio, but I know that's what it is. And then there's the HDMI. Runs Linux. So I'm just going to leave it there in case I need those specs for something, what I was going to do. And I was looking around, and I was getting ready to try and install this Balena Etcher. Balena Etcher. It's supposed to be an easy-to-use graphic tool for writing the IMG and zips, and I think it'll do ISOs. It doesn't say though. To your SD card. I just use with that. I prefer to use ISOs because there's more tools, and that's what I've always used ever since when they used to be used to write CDs and DVDs. But anyway, I was getting ready to install that first, and I went and booted up my Raspberry Pi. I couldn't remember what I had on it, and I actually have Devane Jesse, or Raspbane Jesse, and a server set up on there that it boots right up, but I can't log into it, and I don't know what the password was supposed to be. I think it might have had a default password, and I don't think that's the one I want. I'm kind of going in circles tonight. Now, this is some instructions for putting a particular type of Apache. Well, it's for putting Apache, and that's what I run for my web servers is Apache. But it shows you how to install Apache along with Python, I think, or something. Oh, along with yeah, CSS. I don't use CSS. I only use straight HTML. But this one's pretty close to what I want to do. But it's also it's from. I thought there was a date on here somewhere. Well, it's for mine. It's when this came out sometime right after my when this was still the new enough. That everybody was using it. It's for this machine, so that's why I kind of hung on to that because if you click on this link, it tells you. It starts telling you how to get it, and it's pretty simple to install. It tells you go ahead and update the thing, which is always a good idea. And then apt-get install, and it says Apache 2, which, and the rest of the things that you would need. Well, Python and all that. Yeah, see, I don't really need live Apache mod. I might need that on the Raspberry Pi, I'm not sure. WSGI, that must be what you see is that stands for what you see is what you get. That might be a mod. That's probably a web page editor, probably a text-based HTML editor, I'll bet you. And then Python. Wouldn't hurt, but I don't need it. I don't want things running. The thing is, I don't want anything running in the background on this wimpy machine. It was, and don't, if you didn't get one in the beginning, yes, they were wimpy. They barely would run anything. I didn't ever say I used it for 2 years as a first with XBMC, and then when they changed it over to Kodi, I put Kodi on it, and I went through all the updates for those 2 years, and I had it in the living room for my mom to watch, web video off the web, on her TV. She never really wanted to mess with it. She really didn't ever use it. It got used a little bit here and there, and it just got to where it couldn't play videos anymore. It couldn't play. I had it set up where I could open up Firefox and play videos in Firefox, or just play them through the Kodi interface or the XBMC interface. Got to where it would just, lagging, and we have good internet connection. It wasn't anything to do with that, as long as it, except for maybe on a few days when the internet wasn't working right or something. But right now we have 200 down and 200 megabits down and 10 megabits up. Before that we had, I guess at that time we had 100 before that. Before that it was, I don't remember, 50 or something, 30. We had started out with 3 back in about 2002, 3 megabits down, and then we got, they went up every so many years. They would go up and up, and of course they went up and up with the price too. But anyway, PyPlate. They want you to install that as part of this. And anyway, so I don't want all that if I don't need it. I was really just kind of looking at it to see. I would have just done apt-get install Apache or HTTPD. That's how you do it in Fedora. So I guess to Bane you need to do it different. And but back to this. So I'm glad I kind of looked that over. I've been actually spending a few hours here figuring out what to do, and then I was going to just put my web server on here. I had decided to do that earlier today, and so I was going through everything I needed. This I'm going to probably call it Balena, I always do that with words. Balena Etcher, especially harder when they stick two good words together, and for some crazy reason, they think it's cool to not capitalize the first letter like you normally should, and then put a capital letter in the middle when they stick two words together. It's just confusing to me. You could, when I do that sort of thing, I capitalize the first letter, and then I capitalize the first letter of the second word, and that's kind of helps me. I can say, okay, what is that word? Oh, it's two words stuck together. But doing it that way, I have no idea why they think it's cool, I guess. It doesn't mean anything that I've ever heard of in the last 20 years of being on the internet and running my websites and all that stuff. So anyway, here is a screenshot of how to install Balena Etcher. I'm just call it something here. Balena Etcher Electron. This is for Fedora Linux, and so DNF install Y Balena Etcher Electron. I guess that's a group. Yeah, that's a group install. So it's highlighted. I'm trying to get it unhighlighted. It won't do that because it was highlighted when I double clicked on it and made it bigger, made it full screen. This is just a screenshot. You know, it was in the browser at the time when I took the screenshot. But that's all you really need to know to install it. And I may not. The problem I have here though is in the past when I would write images to that SD card, you know, the SD card in this thing is a full size. That's all it'll take. And I only had one machine that would take a full-size SD card. And that is the Dell 1525 laptop that is in my mom's room, and she's using it as her computer now. Well, I'm supposed to be building her a new computer, basically, putting a new motherboard and processor in her box. So yeah, I'm doing something else tonight. So this is the way I had it in my mind, so this way I'm kind of going through it. Heard something get kind of loud. That laptop up there's fans already getting loud because it's running the webs, you know. But I want to know if my stream's okay, so I'm going to leave it running unless it gets to where it gets really loud. Then I'll know it's getting hot. But it's warming up enough to run its fan faster. I can hear it. But so I had all this information ready to do and hadn't done it. It was in preparing to mess around with this Raspberry Pi. Okay, so there is another, well, I'm thinking, before I forget, there is another, okay, I was going to put my website on it, and in the middle of all that tonight, I decided to go, I have 3 Alcatel A845L phones that I'm using as, this is one I'm aimed at my screen. I was going to show booting up it's the best view I can get. It's zoomed in. When you zoom in, they get blurry because they only have digital zoom. You know, most phones, hardly any phones have optical zoom. So anyway, what I was, and then I went and, okay, I have, the batteries are swelling really bad on 2 of them now, and so that's what changed my mind. I went over here. I don't know if I can show it. Let's try it. I've got it all in zoom in mode. Whoa, where am I? I cannot find it. Too far. If I would get something else as a background, it might help, huh? Okay, so I don't think that helps. It actually made it worse, didn't it? Okay, so if I stay on my preview screen, at least you can see it a little bit there. Look at that. That's one of them. Here's the other one. Leaving them on all the time. I've been using actually, did I switch? No, I've been switched batteries and kept using the same phone. I've been using it for several months as a security camera, running IP webcam, which is what I use to do my streams. That's what's making that stream that you're seeing right there. It's an app that phone app. Anyway, keep leaving them plugged in and running all the time. That's what it does to the batteries, especially when they're already old and just beginning to swell a little bit. Anyway, maybe. So they're not ruined. They work fine, but it's called outgassing. They put out gas, which I think it's mostly hydrogen gas. When they start doing that, it's kind of similar if you're familiar with a lead acid battery beginning to sulfate. It's similar to that. But anyway, they start putting out gas when they get old. And well, they could if they were being overcharged, but they have their own. The phone has battery management software, and there's supposed to be, there's a battery management chips, a circuit board on the battery. So that's the only reason I'm not completely scared to death of them. It's because I know they have that. But anyway, so I pulled that thing down and took the batteries out. So now I only have one that's usable right now, the one that I was just now showing that with. So I decided, okay, I need to. I've been looking for a security camera system. I want a whole system, but I decided I may buy IP webcams one at a time to get. I've decided that really you're not going to get, like if you want to get a license number, you need 4 to 5 megapixels really, and you really got to pay attention to what you're getting. That's just too expensive to buy a whole set, so I thought I might buy one IP cam that has the ones with the SD card. I think are really the best shot at getting your shot, because even if your Wi-Fi goes down or anything, as long as the camera's still running. Of course, if your electricity goes out, the camera won't be running on these, the ones I've been looking at. So it would go down. But anyway, it would record it as long as your electricity is on, even if your Wi-Fi, goes wonky. Because that's the biggest problem people seem to have with them, is that when they're all completely dependent on Wi-Fi, they're just up and down all the time, and they're always having to reboot them and reset them and all this stuff. So, it'll record to that SD card, and that's what the phones are doing. They're streaming IP. They're an IP cam with IP webcam, and then they're also writing. Anytime they see motion, they write to the SD card on the phone. That's fine, but the phones they couldn't be outside for sure. They would overheat and shut down, or get too cold and shut down. I know that because they did that when I was just using them making videos a couple of summers ago. They'll go, let's see, anywhere between 97 to maybe 100 degrees, and they'll shut down. I'm saying they might make it 100 degrees depending on where you are. If you're not in the sun and you have a fan blowing on it or something. So anyway, these phones that I have, that's what they do anyway. So, and they only do about 2 megapixel video too. So 5 megapixel still images and 2 megapixel videos. So, and as far as the webcam, the surveillance camera kits, they come with like 4 cameras. The best I've seen is 2 megapixel at a decent price, and what I would consider spending like $225 to $250 for that set with a NVR, a recorder that you can just hook up to your TV. The IP cams, if you don't know, you got to run them through a router. But then you've got to worry about using up all your bandwidth on your routers on your own network. You're just going to end up, if you're doing it that way, you're going to end up having to reboot your routers more often. Actually, my router, my D-Link router, it has this software setting in it where you can tell it to reboot every night, and that's what I've been doing with it. But I have noticed that after about a month, you really need to go ahead and do a hardware reboot. Turn it off and turn it back on to really clear out all the cache and everything in it. They'll still get to where they don't work right after about a month solid running with that camera on it, streaming to it. And your modem, it affects that. Well, my modem's always done that. But anyway, talking and showing you nothing to look at here. So, webcam software. I started to open this up a minute ago, but I didn't. Okay, there it is right there. First one in the list. MotionEyeOS. I was thinking earlier, before I was thinking about putting that on. Now, the reason I haven't done this and put it on this Raspberry Pi and just use the USB, I thought about, I've got a couple old USB cameras, and I'm going to try using one of those right now because that's all I got. And I kept debating about buying a Raspberry Pi camera and using something like probably this one. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know. I tried ZoneMinder out on my Acer laptop. They already had a web server on it, so I just installed ZoneMinder, and you've really got to follow the instructions, detailed instructions step by step to get it up and running. You have to do a lot of command line work, and I fouled up. At the time, I realized it after I tried it, and it wouldn't. The machine booted, the server still ran fine, but ZoneMinder wouldn't start up. I realized my mistake, and I probably could fix it, but Uh, you know, I mean, you're going to spend $100 to get a good enough webcam to use one of those, and a USB webcam really works the machine hard. So I decided I didn't want to do that to that Acer laptop. And in the meantime, the battery is about almost dead on that laptop. It won't if it gets if the power goes out to the house, which happens from every other time, at least every other time we have a thunderstorm, it'll go out at least for a second or two, or a minute, or 10 minutes, or 30 minutes, or an hour, or something. Most of the time, it's just long enough to make everything reboot in the house, or everything, every device that's running, turn off and turn back on. And it used to didn't hurt the laptop. Actually it did. I mean, it didn't hurt it, but laptops, there's no setting in their BIOS to tell them to always be on, so it would just, as long as it wasn't longer than the battery used to last 2 hours. When I first started using it as my web server, it lasted 2 hours. It got down to nothing. And so now it won't always boot back up. You've got to fiddle with it and, reset the battery 3 times and then finally it'll boot back up. So, and I just decided there's so much broken on that laptop. And I also thought, what if I'm wrong? What if it really isn't the battery? Then I spend the money on a battery and then it still doesn't work. Or really a laptop. It's the first time I've used a laptop as a web server, 24/7. And how long did I run it? Maybe, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months? Probably more like 6 months. And the battery was, it would last for 2 hours when I started, and now that's how long it took to finish it off. So, I knew that, just like these phone batteries, laptop batteries don't stand up to the machine being running 24/7 for months and months. So I've always used desktops. I've ran my own web server for my own website since 05 or 06, probably like 06, I guess. I don't know. I got into Linux in 05, so I know it was after I got into Linux, because I never did run I played with servers ever since Windows 98 first came out. Learned how to do it on Windows. I did it in 98 and XP, and I always usually end up with a server on my machine, but I didn't ever put it on the internet. I just messed with it and built websites on it and tested and stuff. Anyway, this MotionEyeOS, I think I'm gonna try to go ahead and get at least one of these USB cameras working, so I've got something, even though it'll be low resolution, and then try to get back and look. And every time I see so much bad reviews and failures and Wi-Fi not working and having to reset them, I just have not found a camera that I wanted to spend, even just buying one at a time and spend, $45, $55 on one, or even more if I got a little higher resolution. But I've found some that are 4 megapixel they were $45, but I didn't get them. Now they're $55, but then there's another. Anyway, on and on. Let's see, Etcher. Let's look at the main website first, and I'll just show what it kind of. I remind myself what it. Flash. Oh, this is Balena Etcher. This must be where I found it from. Yeah, Etcher. Okay, you might have caught that before I did. So this is what I was talking about. MotionEyeOS. I was looking on the Raspberry Pi website today, and that right there, they also recommend it as the best image writer. So that will be, if I write any images. So that full-size SD card that's in there that I'm fixing to boot up and show you, I really don't have a way to write to it. I wasn't thinking about that at first, and then it hit me. I don't have a way to write to the darn thing. So I do have, though, a micro SD card with a USB adapter that I've been using for many different things, and so I could write it to that. Since I'm going to make it a video, server, I'll make it a video surveillance and server so that I can look at the video remotely. That one that I got with my Raspberry Pi, it's only 4 gigabytes. I wouldn't be no space at all for video. So this other one is at least 32 gigabytes. It came out of, I took it out. Oh, I decided to buy a bigger one from one of my phones, and so I kept that as one to play with. So I think I could probably write the image on there with Etcher inside the USB adapter, and then plug it into the I have a full-size SD card adapter for it. I can plug it into the Raspberry Pi, and now I don't and boot to it, and then install from there. Now I don't think that would work as if you were doing if you're like say it depends on how. There's so many different ways they write the stuff on there. There's also a chance that it wouldn't even boot, especially if it was meant to be a live OS. It might not boot. But these are just what they do is they just put the stuff. They just give you enough files to boot and install. And it usually ends up erasing what you had on there to boot to the first time. They put it in memory, do the install, and that formats and erases the SD card, and so it's gone. Once you reboot, it's gone. What you originally had on there. Not all the Raspberry Pi images are that way. Sometimes they leave them on there in a little separate partition. And it's been a few years since no, it's not that long because I got the Bane 6 on there, so that's how long since I've played with it. Really, I mean I've looked at it a couple of times, but as far as writing anything to it. So MotionEye is supposed to be easy to use, a lot easier than ZoneMinder. I did a bunch of reading about it. And I'm skipping to the links that I've already. Yeah, there's the installation. Download it, which I've already done. Pretty sure I have it. If I don't, I can download it. But write the image to an SD card. And they also recommend Etcher, and so on and so forth. So I think I'll close the ones. Well, let's leave that one open. I don't want to overwork my machine, but yeah, let's leave it like that because I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. I'm not going to use that, and I thought, well, it's hard to find, I've been searching and searching and searching. It's hard to find this stuff again. That's why I'm reluctant to. There's where I want to start if I do that. Okay, so let's go over here and see if that's really what I want to do. I think it is, but there are a couple other options that I could do. Okay, so this is not a very good view, but it will. Oh yeah, okay. I have a switch. See, I've got the Raspberry Pi plugged into this monitor through the HDMI cable with an HDMI to DVI adapter because this monitor only does VGA and DVI-D. But I have a switch. I can just switch a switch on the monitor and switch it to the other input. Okay, so I'll leave it like this. And oh yeah, I can switch right now. Okay, because sometimes that gets a little tricky, and plug in the Raspberry Pi. There we go. You should be seeing that now. There's two choices on there. I've got Devane Jesse, and I'm waiting for it to show up, and all I see is there it is. Yeah, okay, it's just behind that much. Okay, so the top is Devane Jesse Raspbane 2016.03. Then there's another one I don't really remember much at all about. NOC-PS Lite, limited to 25 servers is what it says there. It's ready to go. You boot into it, and it's a server up and running, but it gives you a login screen. It says you can either log in here or log in on a web browser, and it tells you the IP address. Only thing is, I have no clue. NOC-PS Lite. Let me write that down because it might be worth looking up. Get back on the other machine and looking up. Let me write this stuff down. Devane, Jesse, Raspberry. Okay, so it's not the straight. Well, you can't just put straight Devane on Raspberry Pi anyway, can you? NOC, unless it's an ARM version. Fedora has an ARM version, and Fedora's my favorite distro, and I'd like to put Fedora. I was thinking of putting Fedora Server on there, and I have one downloaded that I thought might work, but now I'm looking. I don't want just a straight Apache web server. I want media server, and webcam that'll do webcams. So yeah. So my throat's already dry. Now normally it would go ahead and boot into the dadgummit, my preview machine went to sleep. It's kind of a nice looking background it has there for the boot screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go on up to the top one there and log in. Just hit enter and log in. Now I got that stuff. I don't remember where I got that and made it do that. Didn't see it in my links, so don't remember right now. If I got that from the Raspberry Pi or from some alternative, setup from another outfit, I don't remember. Now, I didn't have that written down. I thought maybe I'd remember it, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't write it down earlier. But so that's why I wasn't able to really talk about it until I booted into here. And yeah, I'll try to remember here in a minute. Once it gets booted up, I'll show you the Raspberry Pi and everything. What I'm going to try to do is earlier before I started, I went ahead and installed KRFB remote desktop application for Devane, and I was going to just try to show everything I did with it booted up using KRFB, but I didn't see it after I installed it. I looked for it when I install it in Devane, then you always see it in the applications menu. And it wasn't there, but some applications don't show up till after you reboot, and it might be that I thought, well, maybe the Raspberry Pi is that way, with that particular app or with a lot of apps. I don't know. But I'm going to look again. Sometimes I'm just going to go into every menu because sometimes it goes into excuse me, I'm burping. I ate a hamburger and fries before I started this. Sometimes they go into oddball menus that you wouldn't expect. I might have not gotten the, I suppose it has a graphical, I may have not gotten the graphical user interface is what I'm afraid of, and that'll just make it hard to use. But it does have a add and remove software in this version of graphical, and that's how I did it. I prefer to work that way as much as I can. So much easier than trying to type and getting things wrong, because my eyes swap letters and numbers and I get things wrong real easy. Okay, so I don't see it, so I'm just going to go ahead and try it in the terminal. Let's see. I'm just going to type in KRFB and see. Command not found. Let's see. Now I'm at a disadvantage because I'm used. I'm mostly 95% of the time I work in Fedora too. So let's go back to the add remove software. It may not be necessary if I'm going to install that other thing anyway to really get that running. I just thought it would help. If it was easy to get going, then I keep wanting to type on my regular keyboard, so I guess I'll put my wireless keyboard right in front of me where I can know which one I want to type on. I keep reaching up there and starting to type on the other one. It runs okay on here. Jesse does. From what I understand, Domain 10 would run on here too, but I don't know if it would run as well or not. I don't know. Actually, it seems to me that, well, Domain 9, I have it on that. Well, let's see. I don't know if that's 8 or 9. I think that might be 8 that's on the Dell laptop that I'm previewing my stream with is 1.8 gigahertz single core Dell 6000. So, you know, it's nothing fancy. Okay. Oh. Well, there's only one return. You know, only one thing comes back. Desktop sharing utility carrier FB, and it shows it's not to be installed, but I installed it a while ago. It's 351 megabytes, but I saw earlier I have like 1.4 gigabytes left, so I got plenty of space for it. What I did before is I hit apply, and it did some stuff. Then I hit OK, and you know what? Maybe it wasn't done. I'm just going to hit OK this time. It says, yeah, installing packages, please wait. Maybe it wasn't done, and because I thought, well, looks like it's done. Okay, you got to type in your password. Oh, I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. I hope that didn't mess anything up on my machine. Oh, it's not connected. What? No, it is still connected. Yeah, because all I did was switch the monitor. Oh, well, since I was just typing letters and numbers, it probably didn't do anything like switch my stream shows it's good, but I still see a black screen up there, though. I hope my camera didn't quit on me. Okay, so that's what it did a while ago. Is it just looked like it had done it, you know, the activity window came up telling you what's going on, and then it just went like that. But maybe it wasn't through, and because what I did is say, okay, it's done, and I clicked on the X and closed the application. Because usually they come up and tell you, okay, it's done. What do you want to do now or something, you know. Maybe that's the problem. So I'm going to switch, get off this keyboard here. I'll switch. Oh no, I'm just going to switch my monitor, then I'll be back. I'm going to leave it, but I'm kind of worried that my stream is showing you nothing but black. Yes, those letters switched it on me. Crap. Sorry. It moved. Whatever I did on the keyboard, you know, whenever I was doing it by accident there, it moved to a different scene. It was down on 10-inch tablet, which is not even running, and hardly ever use it. It has a camera in it that I use sometimes. But, okay, so now it's back up. Oh. I was switching my KVM switch, and I don't need to do that. I'll get on another screen that doesn't have anything running in it. No way. I got off that. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, it just looked dark because I don't know why it looked dark. The switches on that monitor just act crazy. Okay, now I would think it's just sitting there, not doing anything. I would think it's done. You think it just sits there like that forever without any thing to tell you what's going on? 351 megabytes doesn't take that long on my I mean, it wouldn't take 10 seconds on my internet connection. But this machine is a slow machine, you know. It's only, so this is the Raspberry Pi. It's only, I think one of my big problem now is my settings on my, let me see if I can get, I think I can get to that from here. I think the camera settings are giving me trouble now. It's been hours since I first set it up. I have to, it could be that there's nothing wrong, but as dark as that looks till my preview, it's a good thing. You can't stream without previewing your stream, you know, because you're always going to have something go wrong or you make a mistake like I did, you know. Let's see. Wrong keyboard again. Now that I've done that, let's just close it, and I'll just switch back to the other. Switch back to the other machine. I hardly ever do this anymore, so it's really confusing me. Okay, now I can just do, I'll go to desktop now until but here's what I'm wondering about. I at the time when I set this up, normally I only go about negative 3 or something like that. I had it on -8 because it's what it just looked like that's what it needed. But now it's, well, it's, I think the date, sun might have still been up then. Now it's nighttime. 3 is about what I usually use. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. I'll just leave that. So I think even when I was on the camera, it was too dark to really be seen. Yeah, I think that's going to be more like it. Yeah, the stream is quite noticeably behind. I mean, it should be a little bit, but it also makes it a little bit more. I think it's, I may still have it set to be like 20 seconds behind. I did that, and I thought, wait, I shouldn't do that. Because of this right here, I have to sit and wait on it, and it confuses me. It still looks dark. I think it seems like I had this, you know, had it looking like that before on my, I used to use that other laptop, and I think there may be something about the display settings. The display settings may be, doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's a little bit dim, but it's on power. So what I try to do is set it to they don't dim or do anything. If it's plugged in. Oh. I guess I can. It doesn't seem to make any difference. So what I see is the whole preview looks dark, and you know, you can just barely see that there's light on the page. Oh, now I went down to 0. You know what you do is make it darker. So now it's on no, you know, no brighter, no darker, and that makes it look like it's showing up better. But I'm afraid what it does is it washes out, and you can't see that hardly. You can't see nothing but a white light. But it actually looks to me like it's better like this. Now, I'm going to trust my preview because usually I do think there's a large difference between this laptop and that Dell 1525. Okay. So, at least you can have some idea of what. If things don't work well, it really gets to be a pain because. Let's see now. What do I need to do? Okay, switch back on the monitor. Okay. Yeah, that looks to me more like it's more you know more viewable. But it's been sitting there for a long time. KRFB, and you would think that it's finished. Let's see if it, before I do that, let's see if it, I do not see anything. Usually I don't use the run menu, but we'll try it and see what happens. Run. Failed. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, cancel. So let's just put this over here. Put this. Let's go ahead and accessories, terminal. In most menus, accessory, the terminal is under the system menu. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of make them equal. Okay. Okay. I'm going to close that Add and Remove Software menu and try installing it in the terminal. Let's leave it like it was. Now let's leave it like that. Apt -get install KRFB. Could not open, lock file, lib, lock, open GDK, denied. Administration directory. Oh, okay. Are you root? No, I'm not. I'll try SU. It's acting like Devane though, where it only has one password. There isn't. I looked on my, I had my passwords written down, and I didn't have a root user password. So whenever I put in my regular password, and you also don't have your own username. Your username is Pi, and so when I put in my regular password, it already had Pi typed in there, when it was asking for permissions to use I don't know what package installer that is, so I won't try to say its name. Anyway, let's get that password in there. Yeah, Raspberry Pi, the Raspbane is not like Devane. It says failure. I don't know if I mistyped it. Oops, I messed it up completely. Okay, I just decided I'm going to try with sudo, because I think that's how this must be set up. Is it GET or GIT? Now I can't remember. I'm going to go with GET for now. Yeah, it's GET. Okay. Maybe the get repository is GIT. I don't know. I'm confused now. All right. What is it saying? You need to do all this, upgrade some stuff, and the list is small and small letters. I couldn't read all that if I had to. Upgrade 201 newly installed 0. Remove and 314 not upgraded. Need to get 94 megabytes. After this operation, 270 megabytes of additional space will be used. Okay, yes. I don't know what the deal is. I'm pretty sure I've installed something from that graphic user thing. And if it's, I mean, if it was taking that long, like just sitting there not giving you any feedback and not done yet, then something wrong with the way it works. So first time I did it, before I got on my stream, I clicked yes because I just instinctively saw yes and clicked it, and then I saw, oh, okay, there's a yes and an okay. I knew that, but I wasn't, just wasn't thinking. And so I let it run through. It looked like it was finished, and then I was looking around for other software, seeing if I want to install anything else. And I thought, well, after I clicked yes, I thought, well, that was good because maybe I want to install something else while I'm at it. And then I looked around, and I decided, no, well, let's just go one thing at a time. Plus, I didn't have anything else I really knew for sure I wanted to install at the time. And so then I clicked OK. And it went through the install routine again, showing you what, it's installing this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's odd. Did it, I've never seen that before. Two menus telling you that it installed something. And so then after it looked like it was done, I said, okay, I guess you're just going to have to close the application. And not all, installers and stuff tell you, okay, we're finished. It just finishes, and then you're supposed to figure it out and close the application. So usually it asks you, do you want to close the application? It's done. Everything was successful, which is good. That's really good. And that one didn't do it. So I don't know. Something funky about that. So unable to fetch some archives, maybe run apt-get update or try with fix missing. Well, it could definitely use an update. So that's the problem. It just wasn't giving us any errors. There's a whole, far as the eye can see, failed to. Okay, so that kind of tells me, and this is an older version, but I thought, well, if it's already there, I don't have to mess with installing it. The operating system, might as well stick with it. Oh, well, but not, that was before when I was going to do a web server. Okay, so no, I don't even want to fool around with regular Debian, Raspbian. I mean, I could do the newest version, but I already know there's not a whole lot to choose from in the repositories. And I read a good article about, so all I'm going to do is quit messing with that. And I'll just shut down I'll shut it. Well, I should have hit reboot, but already did it. Oh, no, you can still have a chance. Okay, let's reboot it, and I'll show what that's almost show, as best I can here, what that server operating system looks like. It's already on there. But they're both, from 2016, so and this is 2019, going on the end of 2019, so if I can get something, up to date, that'd be better anyway, because I'm not going to do a web server on it, but now, and it'll be on my own private network. That's why I wasn't too worried about it, being older, and I thought, well, it may run better on this old Raspberry Pi than the new version, will, because it may be less, software bloat. So we'll see. But I do believe when I looked that I confirmed that the one that I'm interested in will run on this older Raspberry Pi. So this is not PS Lite, NOC PS Lite, and hit enter. Use the arrow keys, go down to that, hit enter, and it'll just boot right up. And as soon as I got to it, I remembered. I think, and I tried it. I don't know what it takes to log into it. And the IP address is funky. It's when it gets there, I'll show you. I don't think I can get to its IP address because it's not on my network. It's like it gave it a local IP address, local only IP address. And of course, you can't use this machine to get to it because you don't have a web browser unless I'm sure there's no web browser in it. I mean, it's a server operating system. It did have a GUI login, but we'll wait till it gets to it. Let's see. Vacuuming the database. Oop, it's done. It's just really pretty quick. You can also access this interface through the regular web browser 192.168.10.103. And see, I have my local network is .0. If I remember, yeah. Oh, I just plugged in one of my spare cables, and I'll bet you anything that cable is plugged into my other router, because I do have. Okay, I've got my D-Link router, my new switch, which is 4 more ports, I think, or more than that, I think. Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 more ports. But then I also have my old TrendNet router, and I think, and I know one of my old routers is a .10. So that's why it's got that funky IP address. I don't think it's going to matter, though, because I can log in right here. Username, I tried Pi, and I tried admin, you know, like if it's on its defaults, and tried root and admin, and root no well, you had to put a password in there. If it would be anything, I would think it'd be either Pi or root. I'd have to go to the website of this thing to find out if there's some sort of default. And it says underneath it, restrict this session to IP address 127.0.0.1. Well, that's a local address, so I did not click that. I unclicked that because I noticed that. And then my password does not work. Admin, I don't know if I tried that or not. Pi. And I don't believe you would need to capitalize the Pi. Pretty sure you don't, but we'll try it. Yeah, I'm almost certain that's wrong. And a lot of times these things will tell you right on that screen, you know. Sometimes you have to kind of hover. Oh, it's got one of those drop down keyboards. That's funky. Type accented letters. Okay, let's try root, which is what most servers, they start out with root, and if you want to give it another regular username, you can. Root, can't do no password. Root doesn't do it. Type your username and password. Let me look and make sure I didn't miss it on my the different I used to have OpenELEC on it, XBMC. Of course, I have the passwords written about down. This stuff is all gone. I've reformatted it since then. OpenELEC and XBMC. During an install, you usually set up your passwords and everything, but this thing is all automated. You just click on something and it's installed and running. It looks like it may be like the first time you do it, it installs it. There's something about this, this whole system that I did. I don't remember. I know there's one called Berry Boot. And that's what it did. It was kind of a couple different ways you could do it, but you could just boot it basically like to a live system. And you could have, like, depending on how much space you have on your SD card, but I had like 4 different things on there, and I used to. But as long as I didn't, and I guess you would say, did a permanent install with XBMC. Or maybe that was when I was just playing with a Raspberry, but anyway. And I'm looking at this as a jabber here. Yeah, Barry. Yeah, there was a Barry web server, but it wasn't any mess. I didn't like it. It wasn't much to it. And I don't need much, but I didn't like it. It tried to have too much stuff. There's notes here. PHP running by default. No SQL. And at the time, I guess I was trying to get my websites that had that stuff. I used to have a bunch of dynamic websites. I had them all up and running on my Fedora 14 system, but I never did make them go live on my website because I had to manually edit all the text and pictures and everything. I never wanted to tackle that. I built that website in 98, 99 to 01 I actively worked on it up till about 02, and then it stayed that way. And it's straight HTML. Only thing I've done is upgrade the HTML to HTML5. Or each couple of years I would upgrade the HTML. There's an application I would use that would HTML Kit or something, I can't remember, that would do that automatically for you. And BMC. The only thing I don't think that any of my old passwords will be in here because it never gave me a chance to put any passwords in there. I think it's a default password. A lot of them, there's one of them, yeah. So, don't really know what kind of a server this is anyway. So, close. I think I just have to hard shut it down when I get to this point. I can't even shut it down. There's no terminal for me to shut it down. So let me go ahead and hard shut it down. Okay, well, that was all fun when hardly anything you try works. Okay, so let's get back over here on my regular machine, and we'll go ahead and try to install that application I need first. Bulimia makes me think of bulimia. Okay, Balena Etcher. Now, it's a graphic SD card writing tool that works in Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. Usually they say Windows, Mac, and Linux. Threw me in a circle. Thank you. At least you made Linux second. And there's notes somewhere that Mac's not even working right at that time. One of the notes I read. Also supports writing images directly from a zip file without any unzipping. That's one thing that I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I mean, not that it's really hard to unzip a file, but yeah, right there. Warning as of 18th of October 2019, which is just not too long ago, appears that Etcher for Macintosh does not work on Mac OS 10.15 Catalina. Until this is fixed, we recommend do not upgrade to Catalina. So I wonder if Balena is the name of the app and Etcher is the version, so Catalina will be what it'll be. Balena Catalina will be the next, what it'll be called. Oh. Okay, so connect the SD card, open the Etcher, and select from the hard drive the Raspberry Pi image or zip file you want to write on the SD card. This is how to use it. Okay. Select the SD card you wish to write to your image. This is off the Raspberry Pi page. It's just telling you how to use it to write the image. Okay. Pretty much the basic way, same you use any other these kind of apps. View your selections and click Finish to begin writing data to the SD card. Okay, so, and when I want to write it on the SD card, that's what I think I'll try to do, because I've tried to like go through the back door with some of the ones like Fedora Media Writer or something, and it ends up not working. So let's try DNF install. I'm gonna have to type all this out because can't copy and paste. I'm too spoiled. This is on the Balena website. Oh, the GitHub. Okay. Wonder if I have that. It'd be so much easier than me trying to type. That's a little longer than I. Let's see. Oh, MotionEyeOS is where I saw it. Oh, Raspberry Pi. Yeah, MotionEyeOS. There's a page for that right there. Let's see. Oh, I already had it open. Installation. Opened it a while ago. I'll leave that in case I need to get back to any of that. Okay, so write the image. Download it. Let's see. Where's the instructions that tell you to... What is this? Oh, this is MotionEyeOS. I need the Etcher page. I knew that. Yes, I did. All right. And see, here's the different versions. I think I did download it. I think I downloaded a couple of versions in case I needed them. But, yeah, I don't have my little deal open. That's just long enough for me to mess things up with my wonky eyes. So let's see. Where is those instructions? That's on the GitHub. GitHub Balena. Okay. Forums. Is it that hard to find? Yeah, click on you want the Red Hat packages. Red Hat's the granddaddy of Fedora. You didn't know that. So update and install sudo yum install Balena or sudo dnf install sudo dnf install. I don't have to use sudo on my machine. All I have to do, go into the terminal. I could probably do it in the something that I was searching, and might as well get it out of there so I don't have any reason to get half confused about all that. Okay. I think that's right. Yeah, okay. So type SU and get root privileges, super user privileges, and copy and paste in the command, hit enter, and it's off to the download. This I'm used to. You saw how much I went around and kind of fiddle farted around there in Debian. Well, that's not Debian, that's Raspberry, and it's not like Debian. Debian pretty much like this, regular Debian. And it was, like I said a while ago, it acted more like Ubuntu, and I don't like Ubuntu for that and many other reasons. The biggest reason is as long as I started out with like Debian 4, Ubuntu 4, and every version I've ever tried, I've tried at least 6 of them, you get them installed and they run fine, and then and every time it tries to update after that, it hangs up and whacks up and won't work, and you fiddle around reading the how-tos, and I never got it fixed, ever. Got tired of messing with trying to type things out in the command line and have it not work. Okay, let's see. Expiration check. No match for argument, Balena Etcher Electron. Oh, I forgot the first. You know why? Because I forgot to go and add the repository. Just remembered copy. First, you have to add the RPM repository for this. It's not in the regular Fedora repos. Now, did it say okay? Looks okay. I don't see any like success or failure. Let's do this now. And yeah, now I hit my up arrow key and got back to that very first command, hit enter. So I don't even have to paste it in there again. I was skipping ahead too much. Wasn't rereading. Yeah, it's downloading it. I'm going to check my sound on my, well, that's downloading. Make sure that I've still got sound on my stream. Okay, it's working. I heard myself saying I'm going to check my sound. I must have left that 20 or 20 second. I don't think you can do 30. Well, I think it's 20 seconds. I think they have you like a couple of choices on, or maybe just one choice on how much delay you can have on your stream. And I thought, well, that would be a good idea, because if my machine gets a little behind on its processing work, my stream will not get any, caching or, any drop frames or anything, which is true, but makes it, if this is without any added delay, then wow, that's probably about, I guess, 10 seconds delay. I don't know. It seems more like 20. And there's always some delay even when you have that turned off. But I do remember turning it on a few weeks ago, and then I decided, oh wait, I shouldn't turn that back off. Now, if I remember to go and do it, I don't know. Can't do it while I'm streaming. It'll be liable to mess things up. Some you can get into some of the settings while you're streaming. Some of them you can't. But I have successfully changed things here and there, and it didn't hurt. But I've also had it completely, whack out or break my stream. I much rather, like, if you can install it from a repo, most of the time it works. But if you have to install something from its unzip it or tar-gz, unzip that or whatever. It's not really, unpack it, unzip a zip file or unpack a tar file or whatever, and run through the, installation instructions. For me, there's about a 50-50 chance if it'll work or not in the end. So I don't like to fool with that unless I really want that app really bad. But if it's in the Fedora repos or the RPM Fusion repos, or you can add the repository and then install it like this, that's okay. That usually does work out okay. So it worked. It's installed. Now let's see if it'll run. Okay. I'll leave that open in case I need it. Now then. Okay, the installation instructions are there. I mean, that's it. Well, that's in another folder. That's what I was wondering. Let's see if there's anything else. If you're having a problem, raise an issue. Okay, so I guess I'll close that. I'm needing to get away from so much stuff running in here. We'll leave that one open. Installation, okay. Etcher, okay, yeah. So now we're down to how we're going to run it. Well, we should be able to run it by going, let's see. First, I'll see if I can find it with this desktop search. Yeah, BAL. It's not BEL, it's BAL. And there it is. That's a good thing. Some things will not show up in the search, but you can find them in the applications menu. Some things, once in a while, you actually have to you have to reboot the machine, even in Fedora. Not too many, though. What happened was my indoor-outdoor thermometer, I went to It was in the way. I couldn't get to my. I couldn't get to my. I had forgotten to grab my SD card, get it out, and I'm still having that strange dark screen thing. So I think that's more to do with that laptop because I'm on my desktop and I don't remember really ever having that kind of thing happen. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like you wouldn't be seeing anything but a really dark screen and not able to really tell what's going on. But the last time that happened, turned out everything was fine. Okay, problem. Where's that SD card? That's not still in my web server. I have a real HP Hewlett-Packard web server that I bought that I'm dying to get it all set up and running. I'm going to use it as a desktop machine, and well, I don't know if I'll actually use it for my actual web server because that would mean it has to run all the time. And if I run it in this room with me, I can't handle that heat and noise. But I don't know. I mean, I'd have to put it out in the garage. I want it, put it out in the garage, and then I have to run it remotely, you know, and then that's going to make all my applications run slow. I mean, I could put everything in virtual machines and do that. So then I thought, okay, forget about it being a web server. I just want it to be my desktop, and I can run it all day and then shut it down when I quit, you know. But I haven't been feeling well for months, and again, so how come I haven't made any streams or done any work on anything? But anyway, the last place I remember having that was in that thing. Crap. Hola. Okay. No, I can't do that. I was going to say I have a solution. I mean, it's under my bed, and I would have to move all kinds of stuff to get to it. It's easy to. It actually slides around real good on the carpet. It's not hard to get out, and it's easy to open up. But there's a lot of dust under there too. I don't want to use one of my. I have other SD cards in my phones, and the batteries are all messed up. I was thinking, okay, I do have one of my phones that has a 32 gigabyte SD card, but if I want to do that, use it, then I would have to go ahead and back up the what's on it first. Okay. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to write something to USB. There is a way to get your Raspberry Pi to boot to USB. Could do that. If I can find, I'd have to go find the instructions. The Raspberry Pi site is really, it's so crammed full of stuff and oddball ways of finding things to me. Sometimes I really can't find it on the site. Usually I have to just search Google until I find it. I'm going to put this in the machine. This is I think I have it in the right order. Let's see. No, that's Fedora server net install. The other one says Fedora 29. Well, let's see. Yeah, this one that I know this is just. See, I'm going to be doing Fedora 30. So let's just use the other one. It's probably Fedora 29, full on Fedora 29. I have two identical USB sticks. Since I'm sitting here with the app open, I would like to at least try. Get some of this. You have inserted. I want to do nothing. The terminal. Okay, get rid of that. Don't need the library open right now. What else have I got open here? Oh, that screenshot that I ended up actually not using. Okay, now. Okay. I'm going to select an image. Let's go look at the images first. Well, we can try it from here. If it's hard to see, then we'll know. Select an image. And what's that one? Fedora server. Oh, that was the one I was thinking of trying. Fedora server. Just so happens it was the last menu I was in. Fedora server net install AAR Arch 64. That's the Fedora. It's supposed to work on Raspberry Pi too, if I remember right. But it does say 64, and this is a 32-bit system, so it might not run on it anyway. I'm not sure if that Arch 60. It probably. I mean, it says AARCH 64, so I'm betting it's a 64-bit. Anyway, downloads. Installer Builder, Raspberry Pi, Debang, Fedora. Oh, I want. What do I want? Forgot what the name of it was. It's called. I shouldn't have closed the. Etcher. MotionEyeOS. MotionEyeOS. I didn't look or find that ISO because. Oh, that's the wrong folder. Raspberry Pi. Let's see if I have MotionEyeOS in here. Okay, you'll only the supported things are showing. Oh, it's only showing zips. Huh. Raspberry for Raspberry Pi, noobs. Okay, let's go to my other backup drive. It could be in there. I think I might as well just download the new one. Oh, what's the wrong? It's going to take a while to read. Let's just go ahead and try to download the new one. Okay. Installation. So we need to find the page with the download. It's probably changed since okay. Branch dev. Oh, I guess that's it. Okay, that should be it then. Download a zip. That's all it wanted anyway. Okay. MotionEyeOS dev development. Maybe it's newer than I thought it was. I was expecting to see stable or something, you know. Now I use this VTZilla virus total scanner. And on something like this where I'm actually downloading a file, I'm going to go ahead, it'll automatically upload it and check it. As long as it's not too big. So it's already finished downloading, but let's just go ahead and let it finish so we make sure that we're not downloading. That's a lot quicker way to do it than to try to run all those commands, you know, and do the checksums and everything. And some of these things on here like this don't even give you all that anyway. Like it doesn't look like they do. They do. I don't know where it is. Let's go back to those instructions though. Installation. Well, that's uh-oh, I think I messed up. I did. By getting off of that page. Oh, well, it's still working. I just lost where I was at. Let's wait on it. I didn't know you had to stay there. I was going to start reading those instructions. It's pretty close to being done, though. I suppose I get to where I need a break anyway, so I may, you know, I think the best thing for me to do is to go ahead and get that server out from under there and get that SD card out of it. Okay, it's sent. Now we can go look at the scans. Okay, that'll take a second. So you can open them both. That link and that link gets you to them. And okay, that one's finished. This is it. This is the URL. The URL is clean. That scans the URL and the actual file. Now this is the file itself. MotionEyeOS dev zip. And it scans it with, it'll be around 60 virus scanning engines. So far, perfect. I've got to where even if there's just, unless I know for some reason why it would like there'd be one or two engines that detect something, some reason that would be a false positive, I don't use a file if it's detected by this because I've been using it for years, and different ones like this. I used to use them where you had to manually upload them, and now they got this virus total. Got to watch out though. There was a fake one in the Firefox when they changed over last year to the new, the new Firefox, basically the new add-on system. There was a fake one on there that would send you to malware, adware sites every time you used it. It looked just like it. They actually, since this is an open source project, they actually got their source and put it in their add-on, which that part's fine. It's open source, but they were using it to trick you into going to sites that are known to carry malware and stuff. And I made a bunch of videos on it and made a report to Firefox. They never ever answered me, and it was like 3 or 4 months later, it was still up there too. And if what had happened, this one, the real one, was not. I had been using it for a year or 2 or 3. It wasn't there because I guess it took them a little longer to get it up to the new code that Firefox wanted. Write it in. They had to rewrite. Everybody had to rewrite their new add-ons. A lot of them just opted not to do it anymore. It was a big job, and some of the smaller people that were like by themselves, or 1 or 2, 3 people. So anyway, it is clean. These other ones didn't. Well, they timed out and they didn't finish trying, but I wouldn't worry about that. That's plenty of them right there. 45 of them showing it to be clean. So now I'm not going to be worried about using it. Now I'll go back to that installation. Okay. Extract. Oh, this is telling you how to. No, that's telling you how to install MotionEye. Okay. Well, first we'll just go back to our. Is that? Yeah, there it is. Etcher. I think it moved. Some apps have started doing that when they move from the window I have them in. When I click to a different window. Okay, so MotionEye, right? I'm going to put it where I want it. I didn't want to move it until I was sure it was good. So where are we at? I think we're in downloads right here. That's my backup file. So let's make them the same directory. Oh, I don't want it in the Fedora. I want it in the Raspberry Pi SD card installation images. All right. Well, that's why there wasn't very many, because it's my backup drive that has lots of them. But I have Raspberry Buster and Noobs. That's all I have in there. So I've used Noobs to get what I got on there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my regular download directory. Move. Okay. Now that it's where I want it, I'll select that image. MotionEye. Okay. Now I'm going to select my target. Oh, it only works with SD cards. Okay, that's good to know. Wait. Looks like this is not a bootable image. The image does not appear to contain a partition table and might not be recognized or bootable by your device. Huh. Maybe it would be on the SD card, but not on my USB stick. So let's see what happens. And I was just wanting to see how the program works. Okay, so yeah, this one here, for instance, this is okay. Let's try putting it on the USB stick. I don't think it would run on the Raspberry Pi, but this Raspberry Pi, but I don't have a 32-bit one. I know. I looked. Oh, not bootable. Okay, cancel. Okay, so then you would hit flash. But here's the thing, is this thing going to let you choose? Because I'm always scared of the ones that don't let you make darn sure you know. Oh, yeah. Okay, right there's where you would select the target. Okay. So you may see I have two backup drives, you know, my 5 terabyte, my 8 terabyte USB backup drives, and then there's a USB stick that I just stuck in there that I was going to try writing to. The one that showed up here on the left, bottom left down here with two partitions, the U3 system and the Fedora Live Mate desktop. That's what I thought that was. So this looks easy, but I'm only wanting to do it on a flash card anyway. I don't know. I'm going to close this app for now, and I have to have a break. And let's see, write the OS image, download the latest one, extract the image file from the drive, write the image file to your SD card. I might need to go ahead and extract it. That might have been why it was given that error, but that ISO would give the same exact error though. And it's bootable, I know that. I think maybe this program is only for SD cards. That's what I gather. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it doesn't do other like USB sticks. Even though they're both the same, they're both flash memory, you know, just in a different connector to plug it into the computer. That's basically it, you know. There is some differences in the hardware, and they do show up differently. Some software can tell, and so evidently this one is not liking it because it's a USB instead of an SD card. And that might be what happens when I try to use that USB to SD card adapter. It probably will, because it does show it up as a USB stick when you do that. So I might not be able to do this. But I'm dying for a break now, so I'm going to have to go do that, and I'll come back right here and figure out what it is I need to do. So I may be stuck. I mean, I guess I could do it if I went. Well, I'm not going to go get that laptop that my mom's using out of there and bring it in here. So more trouble than dragging the server out from under the bed. So I'll see. I don't think I have another. Oh, yes, I do. I have one machine. You know what? That Etcher laptop will boot to an SD card, I think. It'll boot. I can probably boot it to this USB stick, Fedora Live. That's what that is. Let's see. Eject. Didn't get rid of the other one yet, even though it said it's safe to remove it. Let's go ahead and say. I meant to say safely remove. Now it's. Okay, so yeah, I could boot, if it'll boot, that Acer. I'll have to look and make sure. I just remembered that it has my web server on it, and sometimes it boots, sometimes it doesn't. But it might be the way I can do it. Oh, I have I do have Mate Desktop on that thing. Yeah, so I can boot it up. All I have to get in the command line. It boots to the command line, and then I can just type Mate, you know, and stuff, and start Xmate and get it into Mate Desktop. And then I'll have a fully functional Fedora 29 system. Yeah. That's where I could do it. I'll still have to go reinstall this program again, but that's actually really easy. So, okay. So that's going to be my plan then, is get over there, say goodbye for now, and I'll take that break and come back. All right.